All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back here to another episode of the Easy Money Sports Podcast. Of course, me myself as always. Sanders here. Got my guy Dupree here with me.
What's going on, man?
Hey, I'm peeping the fitted. Man,
Yeah,
R.I.P.
yeah. Me
R.I.P.
too.
Ah,
Oakland to the Oakland A's last day in the Coliseum for them. So I figure I'll pull out the fitted and rock it for them today.
yo, did you see? They had like empty water bottles and like the groundskeepers like shoveling up dirt and putting it like in the bottle
Really,
for people
from
to
the from
like
the
to
field.
keep. Yeah.
Oh wow, nah, I
That's
see that.
yeah.
That's,
It's
that doesn't surprise me though. That doesn't
it was
surprise
yeah. It was it
me.
was it was it was kind of a little breathtaking, bro. To be like, I can't believe they doing it, but then it makes sense. Like, I don't know if anybody else gonna ever be back up in there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy how Oakland pretty much ain't got they got nothing, right? Shoot,
That's tough.
Warriors went to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
What the Raiders in Vegas now?
Oakland, the Oakland A's, they're going to Vegas. They've
Them
been
is
Sacramento,
the
man.
yeah. I think
They're going.
they going to Vegas. So dang, that's
This
just
race, Oakland's lost all their pro teams, man. Like that,
that crazy,
like that.
crazy. But man, a lot to get into. It's been a little minute, but we can't wait to get to it, man. A lot to get into it, and we not gonna hold y'all much longer. So we're gonna get right into it, man. Over in the NFL, quick news with that. Man, pro safety for the Los Angeles Chargers, Derwin James suspended one game for I guess too many unnecessary roughness penalties. Got one last Sunday against Pittsburgh, a little hit on Pat Freiermuth, and that's what deemed the NFL to go ahead and give him that suspension. But of course, everybody is going crazy about the fact that he got this one game suspension because who does the Chargers play this Sunday? The Kansas City Chiefs. So everybody already feels like it's been 3 weeks in a row that the Chiefs might have gotten away with some help with the officials or whatever it may be. And then of course now again, here comes pretty much the Chargers' best defender back there. But I
Yeah,
guess him and Asante Samuel, but for sure they're James' best defender back there. Now won't be able to be out on the field. I mean, you know, DJ know how to keep Travis Kelce in check, bro.
yeah.
He matches up with him pretty well. So now the fact that there won't be no DJ out there is I don't know, man. You got anything you want to say on it, or you
yeah. I'm a Olay this one. I'm gonna let this one go.
tight, cause
I
yeah, I ain't got
hate
much
he gets
on it either,
suspended. I'll
bro.
say that. I hate that he got suspended.
For sure. I mean, I didn't think it was. I mean, I didn't think it was a bad hit.
Yeah,
But I guess the way when you see him, like I guess lean in with the crown and everything like that,
mm-hmm.
I guess by default
Gotta
they
call
gotta
it.
call that. So it is what it is, man. But NFL about a quarter through the season now, week 4 starting tonight. Halftime, we're getting ready to start the second half up there in New Jersey. Cowboys Giants 14-9.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, Cowboys doing what they do through the air. CD doing his thing, Dak doing his thing. Malik Neighbors is putting people on making them touch earth,
Yeah,
uh, and everything like that. But we'll see. Still a whole nother half to go. But yeah, there's some teams right now, man, who thought they supposed to be looking pretty good, and it's a little iffy right now. So we got this little session that we gonna call it right here, just to wonder: is it time to hit the panic button? Should you panic for this team or not? So we'll go ahead and get right into it, man. First team on the list, we'll go with the San Francisco 49ers. Sitting at 1-2, had a 10-point lead with about like 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth this past Sunday against the Rams and blew that. Got beat a couple weeks ago by Minnesota. Uh,
mm-hmm.
we know now what's going on with Christian McCaffrey. We don't know when he'll be back. Man, what do you think about the 49ers? Are you panicking on them yet?
Not yet. Not yet. They got to get healthy. I don't think Debo played this past weekend. Um, so they got to get healthy across the board. Obviously, not having Christian McCaffrey hurts. That hurts definitely. That offense, a lot of their offenses run through him and the different things that they do when them not only in the run game but in the passing game as well. So that's a big blow for the San Francisco 49ers. But they still have a lot of different weapons. That defense is still there. I trust that they'll figure it out. It's early in the season. We're not even. I mean, this week they'll be a quarter of the way through. I'm not gonna hit the panic button on them yet. They've weathered storms like this before and made deep runs of the playoffs to the Super Bowl, things like that. So I'm not yet, not yet.
Yeah, not yet for me too. I mean, of course, yeah, not having McCaffrey, not having Debo is hurting them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you would like to see a little bit more out of Brandon Ayuk, especially just because of what I was transpiring through the off
Yeah.
season. You definitely need a little bit more from him, but um, you know, but I mean that man, they got the best linebacker in the game, Fred Warner. I mean that defense is still lethal. I know they dealing with some injuries on that side too.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I also look at it in their division. Pretty much everybody except for Seattle looks like right now is kind of dealing with injuries. I mean, you look at the Rams, no Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nakua for a while, so they're dealing with injuries. Arizona still trying to figure out what they're going to be and everything like that. So I mean, there's Seattle, but it's still early, and I think depending on what happens, I think they should be good. I mean, I hate to say it like this, but it looks like they getting a get right game coming up here. This Sunday you got the Patriots. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're struggling on their end. So I think I wouldn't hit it just yet on them. I think as long as they can get back healthy, get guys right, and get that offense rolling along, the defense gonna keep doing what it's doing.
Yeah.
They'll be all right. So it's not yet for me too with the 49ers. That the next team we got on the list, man, we're gonna go over to the AFC. We got Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, sitting at 0-3. Um, had a 10-point lead at one point that first week one against Miami, and it kind of just spiraled. Lost in the last second field goal.
Mm-hmm.
Struggled a bit against Cleveland, and then last Monday night, I mean, pretty much got took to the woodshed against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, man. Um, of course, Trevor Lawrence got paid that big contract over the off season, so a lot is expected. When you get that type of deal, man. And of course, you go back to even last season where I think they were sitting at 9-2, 9-3 at one point, and pretty much lost the rest of the way and didn't even make the playoffs when they probably should have coasted into at least a playoff spot, worst
Yeah.
case scenario. So, uh, is the seat hot down there for Doug Peterson, and are you panicking on the Jaguars?
And I'm starting to worry, just because you're 0-3 and you are in a division where you have to deal with Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud twice. You haven't played either of those ball clubs yet. You haven't played the Texans or the Colts yet. And this is and you're in the AFC just in general, and that's already tough enough, let alone the division that you're in. So yeah, the way they look, they did not look like a playoff team. They did not look like a team that's going to win 9 games. They didn't look like a team that's going to win 7 games, 5 games this year. The way they looked against Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo put a head whooping on them. So I'm hitting that panic button. Something's got to give. You don't see blowouts like that in the NFL. We talked about it at work with some friends, things like that. You don't get blown out. Like, you don't see blowouts, 37-point blowouts like that in the NFL. A team could be bad, could be struggling, but you never see teams get beat like that. And the Bills just whooped them. So there's something is not right now in Jacksonville. I don't know what it is. Something isn't right, and they got to figure it out. I know I think the statistic is like I think since adding that extra game, so going to 17 games, any team that started 0-2 has never made the playoffs, and now you're 0-3. So basically saying it's a wrap. So I'd be panicking.
Yeah, I'm panicking on it too, man. Like we said, Trevor Lawrence 0-8 the last 7, 0-8 the last 8 starts. Uh, Team offensively is only averaging 13 points per game, and it's not like they don't have the weapons, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Trevor Etienne in the backfield. We got Christian Kirk. Um, I think Evan Ingram is injured right now, so that may be an issue. But still, Christian Kirk brought in Gabe Davis over from Buffalo. Um, I think Zay Jones is still there, so it's not like they don't have like a good core of guys to where they should be at least somewhat, competitive. But this just looks pretty bad. I mean, defensively, they don't have anybody with an interception on the roster right now. No, there's no ints, so they're not forcing much turnovers. And when your offense is turning the ball over, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't help either. So it's just, it's tough. Like you said, the division, let alone just the AFC in itself, because you get too far into a hole like where they're going now, it's gonna be hard to climb back out of. Because I mean, we don't know how many more weeks Houston would have a week like they had last week.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
we don't know how many more weeks, Anthony Richardson might, struggle to get the ball down the field like he did last week. There might not be too many times where they can do that, and it may or may not cost them the game. So Jacksonville has to figure something out, and they got to figure it out yesterday,
Yeah.
or Doug Peterson might be one of the ones who I hope he can make it through the season. I don't like seeing coaches getting fired like
Mm-hmm.
during the season. I just think that's very tough. But if he can make it through the season, but if it ain't too good, come Black Monday,
Oof.
it might be OV, man. Uh, Next team on the list here, playing currently right now, the Dallas Cowboys. Started out that big blowout win against Cleveland, but the last 2 weeks at home against the Saints and the Ravens hadn't looked too good. I know they made the score a little bit closer to that Baltimore game, but I think Baltimore kind of let their foot up off the gas, so that was that. But um, we'll give a two-part to this, because so before the game, we'll give a before the game panic and during after right now
Mm-hmm.
panicking. Are you what were you before and what are you now?
The same panic. I They can't stop the run, and if they find a way to lose this game, right now it's 14-9. It's third and goal. The Giants have the football. If they find a way to lose this game, they definitely should be. They definitely should be panicking because you can't stop the run, and the Eagles have Saquon Barkley. Ouch. And then, albeit, take it at face value for what it's worth. Washington doesn't look bad right now, and Jaden Daniels is playing really, really, really good right now. So, if they find a way to lose this game to the Giants tonight, they should be panicking. They should be panicking because if you look at the Eagles, who can run the football, if you look at the Saints, who can run the football, if you look at the 49ers, who we know can run the football, if you look at all these teams in the NFC that can tote the rock, if that's your Achilles heel of the defense, when you get into playoff time, that ain't it. Even before you get into playoff time.
Man,
So they have some real soul searching. They got some real soul searching to do. Um, so I feel the same before the game, and I feel the same afterwards. Even if they win, I feel the same. because you're just not going to win a lot of games if you give up 200 yards rushing.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Saquon is waiting, lying. He's waiting. He's waiting. And Philly is going. Sirianni gonna give him that rock. So I'm just letting, he's gonna give him the football for sure. So the Dallas has to figure something out defensively. They start slow on offense, which doesn't help them at all. I mean, you're looking at this game; it's 14-9. Like the Giants, you letting the Giants hang around, you letting them hang around. They go up. You could be talking about them potentially losing the game. Now, it's just you're giving teams that you should beat. You're giving them the confidence to say, okay, we can win this football game, and that happens every week, right? It happens every week, but they have dominated the Giants over the last couple of years. They have not lost to the Giants, and if you lose this one, looking the way you've looked, it's not going to be good. So I'm hitting the panic button.
Yeah, but for me, before it was panic. Um, right now, they getting close to not yet because of the way they're performing defensively. But I
Mm-hmm.
still might say yes, just because I mean, like you said, they couldn't stop the run. I think they were like 30th. Well, no, I'm sorry. I think they're like 28th in total defense. So I know for a fact that they
Yep.
couldn't stop the run that well neither. And then, like you said, offensively, they can't run the ball. They 30th in rushing, but they lead the league in passing. I mean, that's you got to find some type of balance on that. And I know that's probably coming from the fact that they were down so much
Yeah.
in the New Orleans games and down early in the um, Baltimore game. That the fact that maybe they had to throw it, but I mean, even right now tonight, bro, they only got 29 yards rushing.
Yeah.
That's not gonna cut it, bro. That's not gonna cut it when you got to get ready and play San Francisco, Philly. I don't know if they'll have them again on the schedule or not, but or even if they so happen to meet them in the playoffs, Detroit, Green Bay. I mean,
Yeah.
you you can't be able to not stop the run when you got these teams that you're gonna play that's like run heavy or is really
Mm-hmm.
good at running the football, who ain't gonna be afraid to run the football, regardless of whether or not it's it's clicking for them that night or what. It's really not gonna matter. So yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it depends on what happens. It may change a little bit, but for sure, right now, I'm still panicking on them just because that's just not a good recipe. That you
No.
can't run the ball and then you can't stop the run.
Tough. I don't
You can win 10, 11, 12 games all you want to again, but if you don't stop it, you're gonna be out again first round come wild card weekend. So
know. Going home. Going home.
I don't know, but we'll see, man. Then the last team up here on the list, probably I would say maybe the biggest shock out of everybody to a certain extent, but the Cincinnati Bengals, man. One of the other two out of the three winless teams, 0-3, had a tough Monday night game against the Washington Commanders. Um, got the issues obviously with Jamar Chase and his contract issues and everything like that, and it's just I don't know, a lot going on with there, man. Since he's sitting at 0-3 in the AFC North, and we know how tough the North is. I,
Yeah. Definitely.
what you thinking on this one?
If I hit the panic button for Jacksonville, I hit it for Cincinnati. And those games for Cincinnati, man, have been close. I mean, they should have beat. I mean, they were off the field in that Kansas City game if there wasn't a PI. You were off the field and winning the football game if there wasn't a PI. And then even in the Washington game, if the defense could get us stopped, the defense could get us stopped. you think they probably win that football game as well. So I feel a little bit better about Cincinnati just because those games have been so close. Versus with Jacksonville, the last couple of weeks, it just hadn't looked good. They just haven't looked good. But 0-3 is 0-3. And in the AFC North, 0-3, you are running the risk of this season being a catastrophe. And they'll have nobody to blame but themselves because they could have got a deal done with Jamar Chase. I've been saying for years that they should have signed T. Higgins and that they need to sign T. Higgins to keep him and Jamar Chase together as a duo. You're about to blow that because T. Higgins is about to walk. You have you have Joe Burrow and you have the weapons that you have and you made the Super Bowl and now you don't want to pay the weapons that help get you to the Super Bowl. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. So they're running the risk of not beating that squad who was just in the AFC Championship, who was a personal foul penalty away from going to the Super Bowl, and 2 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, making the Super Bowl. My bad. Shout out to Dylan. I just seen Dylan just made his cameo on the game. In the
Yeah,
game.
shout out to
I just saw him over there on the
Dylan.
sideline. Shout out to Dylan. But yeah, so I'm hitting the panic button for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm hitting the panic button.
Yeah, same for me, bro. I mean, if 0-3 is 0-3, when it's you and there's two other teams that hasn't won a game yet, we gotta panic, especially a team of Cincinnati's stature now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're always now being talked of one of the teams that's supposed to be around there to challenge Kansas City. Um, Hard to do that sitting there 0-3,
Yeah.
and
So
it's just. I don't know. It's just like, man, they just been struggling to pretty much just, to finish, just to make the right plays. Just here and there. It seems like, I don't know where to put the finger on it. I don't know. I don't know if it's the defense or it's just like
yeah.
there's a few times here and there where maybe the offense are missing, missing plays. I mean, bro, they didn't force Washington to a single punt
That's tough.
last Monday. That's hard to beat a team if you didn't force them
Yeah.
to punt. And granted, you didn't have to punt either, but they got more. They got more touchdowns and more scores than you did. So at
Exactly.
the end of the day, that's hard to overcome. And I would say for them that they got to get right game Sunday. But I mean, Carolina looked so different last week with Andy Dalton and then with Bryce Young. So I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's even a get right game for them. So this is gonna be a time where we got to see what Cincinnati's made of, man. Because if not, if they fall to 0-4, things are really gonna get ugly, and some discussions are probably gonna have to be had. And it just kind of lets you know, like, man, how fast and how short a window can open and close for you,
Well,
like just like that.
yeah.
We were talking about if there's somebody that could hold Aaron Donald for like another half a second,
You win the Super Bowl.
they winning the Super Bowl. And then, like you said, a personal foul call away from going back, just all kind of different things. That just of course, then Burrow getting hurt last season, so that kind of derailed everything. And it's just, yeah, man, and it's just crazy how just like you said 3 years ago we're talking about that play, and now we're sitting up here discussing if what may happen if they go 0-4 this year, and
Mm-hmm.
at that point maybe this season is a lost cause too. So we'll see, man. We'll see about all four of those teams. Obviously, the Cowboys tonight. So we'll see how the other three teams bounce back this Sunday. Man, as we go into looking at the games of the weeks, picks of the weeks here, we got 3 games on tap for NFL Week 4. 3 big games, man. 3 big games. First game on tap, we got the rematch of the NFC wild card from last postseason. The Philadelphia Eagles going down back to Tampa to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Philly had that big, huge, defensive struggle, but good win over the New Orleans Saints, which was a team who was looking like they were about to be clicking on all cylinders, and Philly found a way to kind of contain them. And then Tampa Bay coming off an odd, a bad loss, really, honestly, to the Denver Broncos. It was a bad loss. I don't
It
know no other way to
was.
put
It
it.
was. Surprising loss.
Yeah, I don't know no other way to put it, man. I mean, this is big in a lot of ways, right? This is one of them games where, it's early, it's week 4, but then you think about it, this could make or break somebody missing the playoffs here. So, man, who you got in this one?
I'm gonna take Philly. That defense looked like the defense from a couple years ago. This
Yeah,
past Sunday,
yeah,
when you can win a game 15-12. Obviously, anybody out there that doesn't know, there were no touchdowns scored in the 15-12 game. Jalen Hurts has to take care of the football. That is the biggest thing for Philadelphia right now. He has got to take care of the football. If he does not take care of the football, they're going to lose this football game because you're giving extra opportunities to Baker Mayfield, who has Mike Evans, Chris Godwin in the crew. But I think they remember that loss from from this past year in the playoffs. I think they remember that. Um, you remember what that felt like, and I think they're going to go down there and avenge that loss. So I'm gonna go with Philly. I think Philly's going to take care of business on this Sunday down in Tampa Bay. Take care of the football. Take care of the football, and Saquon is balling. Saquon is balling. All right.
he actually scored twice Sunday. It was the score
Yeah,
just looked weird, but he scored.
that's on me. That's my
Yeah,
bad.
but
Also,
still,
I don't pay attention. I wasn't paying attention to it. They're playing the Saints, so I could care less. As long as
yeah,
they
yeah,
lose, is what it is. So that's my
yeah,
bad. I'm sorry, Saquon. I misspoke. Saquon did score. Saquon is really the reason, outside the defense, is the reason why they won the football game this past week.
correct.
So that's my bad. But yeah, get the ball to Saquon, man. He's everything right now. Devontae Smith is probably not going to play. Um, I believe it was a concussion. I didn't see the official diagnosis, but I believe it's got to be a concussion. Uh,
Right.
it's got to be a concussion, so I'm pretty sure that he's out. AJ Brown, don't know if you're getting him back or not. He's listed as questionable. Maybe, maybe not. So if him and AJ Brown are down, if AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are down, it's going to be the Saquon Barkley show, which might not be a bad thing the way he's been playing. So I'm gonna roll with Philly. I'm gonna roll with Philly even despite the injuries. I think they'll find a way to figure it out behind that defense and the run game.
Yeah. I think Tampa plays better than what they did last week
Mm-hmm.
against Denver, but I think Philly finds a way to get it done, kind of like what they did this past Sunday with New Orleans, right? I mean, kind
Mm-hmm.
of pretty much that defense looked like what we think it should look like
Mm-hmm.
of all the pieces that they got. Because I mean, they got somebody at each level, like that can go out there and play and ball. Um, and like you said, even if they can't get Devontae and AJ to be out there, I mean, why not give it to Saquon? I mean, and then Dallas Goddard had a hell of a week last week. I
Yeah.
mean, he had 10 catches for like 100 or something yards. So
Mm-hmm.
um, he had a great game. So I mean, the weapons are there. like you said, they just got to stop turning the ball over. You know,
That's it.
it's rare that they turn the ball over like they did last week and won. So there's definitely some things that they still got to work on, man. But yeah, if they take care of the ball, don't turn it over, I think they'll do just enough to go ahead and get the win this week
Mm-hmm.
against Tampa. So I'm gonna go with Philly as well. Man, then you head down to the Sunday night game, and we got that's a big one right there, man. Up there in Baltimore, we got the Buffalo Bills, undefeated 3-0, going up against the Baltimore Ravens, who finally got their first win last week against Dallas, albeit it was cutting it a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, it was.
Uh, but you know, all in all, a win is a win. They'll take it. Man, big matchup here, man. Obviously, a lot of people, or a good amount of people, tried to basically, you know, write off Buffalo because there was no more Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis left. Who's trying to figure out, well, who's going to be, you know, who's going to be what they're going to be at wide receiver. And honestly, man, it looks like Josh Allen hadn't missed a beat, you know. But
Yeah.
it's early still, you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
early, but it doesn't look like he missed a beat. I guess you can say he's one of the early front runners, maybe for MVP right now, if you wanted to get into it that early. But you know, but Baltimore, man, always a tough out, especially at home. You just never know. Man, who you got in this one?
I'm gonna roll with Baltimore. I'm gonna go with Baltimore at home. Then they got that run game going this past weekend against the Cowboys. I think they continue to feed off of that. I think they'll continue to run the ball well, and I think the defense. I think they get a couple stops, they get a turnover, a couple key stops. I think that Baltimore finds a way. It's going to be a good. This probably gonna be, to me, it'll probably be the best game of the day. I
Yeah,
think it's probably gonna be the best game of the day. Um, so it'll be a close game, but I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I'm gonna go with Baltimore, and mainly because it's at home. If it was in Buffalo, I I would maybe lean towards picking the Bills, but because it's gonna be down in Baltimore, they get to be at home. I'm gonna roll with Lamar. I'm gonna roll with Lamar and the Ravens.
yeah. Initially, I was um I was really contemplating on this one, and I was thinking, man, until somebody can stop Buffalo, it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
go against them. But I started thinking, I went back and kind of looked like, you know, at the schedule so far. I mean, it was Arizona, Miami on a short week Thursday night. Tua goes down, so then you know that the firepower of that game goes a little lackluster. And I mean, they obviously just outclassed Jacksonville, and I mean, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
their fault. The schedule is the schedule. I don't blame nobody for that, especially in the NFL. That is not their fault.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this is to me like going to be their first real test, you know,
Yeah.
this season, um, for sure. So with that being said, I am rolling with Baltimore as well,
Okay.
just because it is at home, and I think they figured out something. Give Derrick Henry the football. Just,
You gotta make it difficult.
I know it sounds weird to say because it's like
Mm-hmm.
he's getting up in age and everything like that, and you don't want to get him in football.
Get him the ball, man.
Just give him the football. Literally, I mean, like unless like he's just like hurt, the numbers show it. Just give that man the football,
That's it.
and you know, just give that man the football, and then once you just drub it in to run it, maybe you can hit Zay Flowers over the top. Maybe you can get Rashad Bateman on a little shallow cross or something like that. I mean, you know, and then of course, if they want to constantly just keep thinking, oh, Derrick Henry, oop, there's Lamar running down sideline. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so
Exactly.
he's there, man. So I hope they figure it out. Just be like, just keep giving him the football, man. It worked. It worked. Why not keep it going? I don't,
Might change it.
you know what I mean? I mean, and I know Buffalo they have a pretty good defensive line too, you know, so it's gonna be interesting to see. But I mean, you know, it's just like what we talked about earlier before we started, man. If you gonna line up and you see Tutu back there, you be like, oh, well, he probably getting the football. Yeah, what you gonna do about it? and we're gonna hand it to them until you figure out to find a way to stop it to where it's like, okay, maybe we go ahead and have to throw the ball. But until then, I don't see them not going away from that. So I'm gonna take Baltimore too, just because it is at home, and I think they figure out we can run the football. We can still give it to Derrick Henry in
Mm-hmm.
a reasonable amount of clip. Um, Last game on tap here, Monday Night Football. Undefeated Seattle Seahawks going up against the Detroit Lions. These two teams, whenever they play, it seems like the last few years has been very, very entertaining. I think last year they played each other as well, winning in overtime. Seattle got the dub.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably one of the surprises is the fact of seeing Seattle undefeated. Right now, I don't think no one probably really saw much of that coming. So quiet as kept. They've been going pretty along here, and of course, Detroit. Two good wins over the NFC West, but had that slow, sluggish game against Tampa Bay. Their only loss on the year so far. Um, Big time matchup, obviously. Who you got in this one?
But Seattle looks good, man.
Yeah,
Seattle looks good, and Detroit kind of had a loss that kind of shocked me a little bit as well. Um, they played last year, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they played last year too. I think Detroit won that one. Um, I'm a man, Seattle
I
good.
think Seattle won it last year. I think it went like overtime or something like that. But it
Was it
was
one?
close.
It was a
I
good
don't
game.
know. It was a real good game. Yeah.
Game. I'm gonna go with Seattle. I'm gonna pick Seattle to win. I think Seattle. I think they're clicking right now. I think. I mean, we've talked about it. And I don't know how many times we said, man. Geno Smith. I mean, you thought this dude's career was done, and his career has come back to life in Seattle. Ever since he has stepped foot in Seattle, his career has come back to life. It has been rejuvenated, and him, and DK Metcalf, they have a connection. They're seeing the same stuff. They're on the same page with a lot of different things. Um, the defense is playing well. The offense is clicking on all cylinders. I'm gonna go with Seattle. I'm gonna go with Seattle to get the win. I think it's gonna be a real good game. And I haven't watched much of Detroit this year yet because I definitely want to watch Jameer. I love watching Jameer Gibbs. So I'm gonna pick Seattle, but I'm excited to watch that game on Monday night. I think it's gonna be a real good game. This will be a real good game.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a good one too. Um, I'm gonna roll with Detroit. I'm gonna take the Lions. I think they bounced back real well last week against Arizona. Um, the offense kind of looked like what we think it should look like each and every week, just about
Mm-hmm.
how they were. Everybody was getting involved. I mean, St. Brown, Gibbs, Montgomery. Um, Now I think Sam Laporta is dealing with an injury, so I'm not sure if he'll be playing. I think he's listed as questionable. I'm not sure if he'll be
Okay.
out there, but obviously getting that extra day might help them a little bit. We'll see, but I think I know a couple weeks ago when it was Tampa and Detroit playing, a lot of people were kind of thinking, "Oh, it's going to be high scoring. It's going to be some, blah blah blah," and it kind of really didn't.
Yeah.
I think this one's going to live up to that bill. I think a lot of points is going to be scored. We're gonna see DK. We're gonna see Zach Charbonnet. I'm not sure if Kenneth Walker is playing or not, but if he isn't, I mean, Zach has been on the tear this season so far. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been finding the end zone. Like you said, you mentioned Geno Smith. Um, Detroit's running back tandem, scary,
Yeah.
scary. So I think it's gonna be a good one. Wouldn't be surprised if Seattle won it, but I'm gonna take Detroit just because I feel like they found a nice little rhythm last week against Arizona, and I think they try to continue that on into next week.
I'm with you. I hear you.
Sir. All right, man. So now we moving on here to college football. It's been a crazy week in the world of college football, man. Obviously, more of the bigger news has been going on off the field. First thing first, man, quarterback Matthew Sluka at UNLV, um, sitting at 3-0, undefeated. A big play of a chance to trying to get into the college football playoff now, since it's extended to 12 teams to be that Group of 5 representative. And all of a sudden, man, we just hear the news that he just red shirts and decides to hit the transfer portal, and everybody's just like, "What is going on?" So obviously now it seems like it's come out to be a disagreement or an issue with the NIL
Mm-hmm.
deals or whatnot. So those who may or may not know about who Matthew Sluka is, I'll just give you a few little rundowns on him. So he's a transfer from Holy Cross, played at Holy Cross. He was a two-time finalist for the Walter Payton Award, which that goes to the top offensive player in the FCS ranks. He was the Patriot League Offensive Player of the Year last year. Total yards, he had over like 2,900, almost 3,000 yards total, both on the ground and through the air.
Mm-hmm.
29 total touchdowns. He was off to a decent start somewhat this year, too, with UNLV.
Yeah,
Over 300 yards in the air so far, 253 yards on the ground, 7 total touchdowns. And, just decided that they didn't keep up with, I guess, the promises that they were giving to him. And he was like, "I'm out of here." But then there's the other side saying that, no, you got what you was promised, and now there was like another agent or something that's come in and say, "Well, we want more," and UNLV was like, "Nah, we ain't giving you that," and they were like, "Give me this or I'm out of there," and UNLV didn't budge. I mean, it's a lot of conflicting stories. I don't know. It's A side, B side, and the truth.
yep.
That's just what it's gonna be. Um, but I think this is the scary part about the NIL thing, that
Here you go.
a lot of people were afraid of what's going to happen. I guess number one, what I ask you is how much of this is concerning, and then number two, is this going to open up like a Pandora's box of maybe other issues that's going on, or is this more so just this could be just a UNLV thing, and certain schools may have this issue and some may not.
It is concerning. It's concerning because this dude's a starting quarterback for an undefeated team who just went to Kansas and beat Kansas. And regardless if he got the money or not, he decided he was going to redshirt and sit out the rest of the year because of something that was agreed upon. And the tough part about this stuff is with the NIL is verbal. A lot of this is verbal. There are no contracts. So yeah, we'll give you X amount of money, X amount of dollars, and there's nothing binding. There's no legal binding to said money. It's all verbal agreement, right? It's all verbal. We college football could be in some trouble if this becomes something, because I'd imagine that if what he's saying is true, Sluka, if what he's saying is true is we agreed upon a number, I have not received that, I'm out, and that's it. If that's the case, then I'm pretty sure he is not the only one who in the country who is dealing something like that. Where, man, they told me they were going to give me this much in NIL, and I didn't get that. They just don't feel compelled, or they don't have the courage to step out and say, all right, this is what we said. I'm not holding it up. So I'm going to take my red shirt and I'm going to transfer. I don't know if a lot of guys have that. have that courage to do that. But I will not be surprised to see if more kids do decide to do that. There are one of his teammates who plays running back at UNLV who has done the same, who has put his name to the transfer portal, um, and mentioned that he didn't get any money from the NIL collective either from UNLV. So it's already starting. It's already starting. It's going to turn. It can mess around and turn into contracts. Well, these guys have contracts, so I, yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say, man. I'm truly lost. I'm truly lost. Like it's this is what you said. This is what you said. This is the scary part about all the NIL stuff and what it could lead to. This is part of the ugly side of it, and we might just be scratching the surface.
yeah. This is where maybe. I mean, I would hate for it to come to that way, just because I'm all for it to make sure that the players get what they do deserve, and I don't want to take that away from them, but
Hmm.
this could get to a point where they could come out and say, you know what, look, we're gonna have this NIL stuff, and y'all can have this, but we're gonna cap you at here. All
Yeah,
right, this is gonna be your cap. All right, you cannot succeed that. That's just gonna be your cap, and this is your one time offer, and then that's it. The only time you may can get another one, let's just say if your coach that you had here is to leave, he goes to another, and you want to transfer. Okay, we'll give you another one. But I don't know. I don't know where they can go from here with this, because this is just, and I guess that's gonna be the ugly part about it. It's gonna be a whole lot of well, they said, he said, she said, it's just like,
it's on
and
right now.
and of course a lot of that, like you said, a lot of it is gonna be verbal, because I mean, if we're talking about contracts now, at that point, are you a professional? But
Hmm.
what's that? And it's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird how it's just kind of like it's went from you wanting to, play college ball to try to go professional and make your money and do what you need to do. Granted, NIL, receiving funds and NIL has, I'm not gonna shoot, because that's been a thing. Okay, it's been a thing. You know, it's been a thing, but now there's a way where they've loopholed a little bit to where it doesn't seem like everything is so under the table.
Yeah.
So it's been a thing, and I'm pretty sure this is not the first nor the last time a school probably promised somebody something and it didn't end up the way they want to do, and that's why
Hmm.
someone ends up transferring. But this is yeah, like you said, bro, this is scary. Um, Especially the fact that this is all coming out right here in UNLV. And
Yeah.
we made we joked about it or whatever, like in the group chat, be like, damn man, this Vegas. Could nobody find him 100K? Kind of like joke. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, all right, if this is happening here at UNLV, where else could this be happening at right now? To where somebody feels like, dude, y'all not getting what y'all promised me.
Yeah.
What's going on? And now, whatever. But um, I don't know, man. I mean, just to leave a team like that, pretty much like high and dry. I think that's another part where I'm just kind of like, I
Yeah.
can't really agree upon, or not a fan of. But who knows? This. I obviously I don't think this will be the last that we're here of this. This will be probably
Well, no.
This is going to be ongoing probably for the rest of the season. Unfortunately for UNLV, and it's sad because they're a very good football team.
No
I
doubt.
mean, they obviously are trying to make a bid for wanting to get into that playoff. I mean, they really didn't schedule too many cupcakes for non-conference. I mean, they scheduled two Big 12 teams in Houston and Kansas and beat them both. Like I said, 3-0 on the year. Obviously, still in the Mountain West, so they got big games probably coming up with Fresno State, Boise State. Um, so a lot is riding for this team, and now to possibly have to pretty much deal with this
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of the season, um, it's gonna be ugly. That's pretty much all I can say on that. So we'll see what happens with that, man. Just unprecedented times for sure in the world of college football, and of course, when you're also dealing with the transfer portal, NIL, and everything like that, there's still realignment going on as well. Big news: the Pac-12 added was at six, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, five more schools. That's now going to be in the Pac-12 starting in 2026. We got Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State, Utah State, and San Diego State all now joining Washington State and Oregon State to be in the Pac-12. So that's seven teams. They only need one more, the Pac-12 FBS team, to can be considered back as a full conference again. So obviously, still looking around for that. I think that's pretty big for them. The fact that they got pretty much all the heavy hitters from the Mountain West um, to join in, and the fact that nobody has to really move out too far,
Mm-hmm.
in conference to do what they have to do there. I think that's nice. But of course, the Pac-12 wasn't done. They were looking for other teams. Rumors were going around that they were trying to get some of those top dogs right now that's in the American Athletic Conference. They tried to get Memphis, South Florida,
Mm-hmm.
Tulane, and UTSA. But those four schools decided to stay put and stay committed to the American Athletic Conference.
Yep.
I think exit fees had something to do with it. Um, I'm not sure about all the schools. I think for Memphis, theirs was going to be 25 million. I saw some saying about 25, close to like 27.5 million dollars in exit fees, and I believe the Pac-12 was only going to pay about roughly 10% of it.
Mm-hmm.
So they was going to have to pay the rest. Um, I guess so. Two-part question to that is, how do you feel about the Pac-12 adding in all those West Coast teams to keep them on the West Coast? And then obviously them trying to reach out and get some of those Southern, Southeastern teams to kind of expand out pretty much like everybody else is doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
they decided, Memphis, South Florida, and Tulane deciding, and Texas, San Antonio deciding not to join the Pac-12.
I figured something like this was gonna happen. It doesn't shock me that the Pac-12 is doing this. I do like the move for a couple of those schools. I think Boise State makes sense. Boise State has been a program that since
Yeah.
mid 2000s has been one of the group of five schools, smaller schools that has been really, really good. I thought this pickup at San Diego State was a good one too, as well. They're trying to find a way to stay relevant, man. Only two teams stuck with them, Oregon State and Washington State stuck it out with them. They were going to play Mountain West teams anyway,
Yeah.
so why not let's go and get the top four and bring them on. Let's make them. I guess we go back to a group of five. Let's make them a group of five. Group of five team, a program. Grabbing some of those schools all the way out here. I'm actually glad that some of those schools turned down, specifically Memphis. Um, I, I'm a big geographic guy, man. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me if I'm Memphis. It makes more sense for those Texas schools, maybe, especially with them being more on the west side of the state. But if I'm Memphis, man, I don't want to travel to Colorado State. I don't want to have to travel to Boise. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to do that. So them deciding to stay in the AAC, um, I think they're looking. I think Memphis is looking to try to get into the Big 12. I think they might be looking to try to get into the Big 12. That would be my guess. If I was Memphis, I'd be trying to get into the Big 12. For those Texas schools, if they want to do the Pac-12, I think it makes sense. But I think Memphis has been good enough for long enough. I think they're in that conversation with the UCFs and the Cincinnati's. Like they're in that. They might be the bottom of that tier, but they're in that same tier where I think the Big 12 would be the right move for them. But I'm happy for the West Coast. I'm happy for the Pac-12. I've been saying it all along. I think that some of those other schools, the Oregons, the Ohio States, the Washingtons, not Ohio State, excuse me, but um, the Washingtons, the Oregons, USC, UCLA, those squads, they're going to move back to the West Coast. They're going to move back. I don't think this is going to. They're not going to be able to sustain this for too much longer. So I'm happy for the Pac-12. Um, it's been weird seeing, not really seeing Pac-12 games. Not that I stayed up anyway to watch them, but it's been weird not seeing like those traditional. Like they played the Apple Cup. I believe it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Civil War was 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
Yeah, like, huh?
it didn't feel right.
Yeah, like we playing rivalry games already. Like, so I'm just glad that they're adding teams and they're staying. They find a way to stay relevant. They find a way to stay relevant. They're staying in. They find a way to keep the conference going. Um, so they care. They're trying and they care. As you know, they weren't trying to lose those schools to the Big Ten anyway. So we'll see, man.
I mean, I would say for me now, there were a couple of rumors, and I don't know how true it was, that the Pac-12 also did offer. You said before mentioned UNLV to see if they wanted to leave out of Mountain West and get them to come there. Um, some talks about maybe Stanford and Cal maybe
I
wanting to
was,
come
I was
back.
hey, what about Stanford and Cal going back?
Yeah, there were some things about maybe Stanford and Cal maybe looking to try to see about comeback. Maybe they thought, the grass isn't always green on the other side. So
Yeah, Cal coming.
that's that. But initially, as far as like with the AAC teams, especially Memphis, initially I was like, no, that's not it. Um, 25 million for exit fee out of AAC, like
That's a lot.
that's a lot of money. They doing renovations on the Libertyville Stadium, so at that point you gotta probably halt those renovations and
Yeah.
everything like that and all that good stuff and everything. But um, then I kind of thought, and I was like, well, I know it's like, oh, this will be Pac-12 2.0, so it won't be like the original, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you add in the teams that they've added and you think about it, like matchup wise, I know traveling is going to be like an issue, but matchup wise, for those football games to play, a San Diego State, to play a Boise State, to play a Utah State, all those different teams. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been nice, and the same thing for basketball. Playing San Diego State, playing uh, you know all those teams that's now joining into from the Mountain West that's joining into the Pac-12, because
Yeah.
the plans were apparently was, let's get Memphis, South Florida, Tulane, UTSA in, bring them all in for all conferences, and they
Mm-hmm.
was gonna try to get UConn to leave the Big East and come to Pac-12,
Okay.
and then they were thinking about bringing down Gonzaga just for basketball to join the
Okay.
Pac-12. So then when you're thinking like, I know, football is just like that, but then you thinking basketball, like, oh man, San Diego State, Memphis, Gonzaga, Memphis,
That
UConn,
wouldn't be. Yeah.
Memphis, like it would have been nice, but I think I agree with you though. I think Memphis is trying to wait until there's one, the one that they want, that they can go all in on for. And to me, that sounds like either ACC or Big 12. I think they're waiting on one of those to figure out that's the one we want. And it says
Yeah.
that way it's kind of like they're centrally located. They're not
Mm,
going too far from anybody or whatnot. Like it'll be perfect for them pretty much. So I think they're just waiting on that. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, something's gonna have to give. Obviously, the relocating and realignment is just gonna be a constant thing now. Is you know teams are trying to get in where they fit in, man, for sure. So
yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see, but can't wait to see on that, man. So obviously now we been chugging along in the college football season too, man. We coming up on 4 or 5 weeks there here now. As time is coming along, so now most of the teams have gotten done with all the non-conference play and playing all the cupcakes and the money games and everything like that. Now we're starting to get into conference play. So now the real season is for sure getting ready to start up, man. But
Mm-hmm.
um, a lot of good games this week. And of course, week to week, anybody can be on upset alert. Who you got on upset alert this week?
I have two teams. Two teams are upset alert. I have BYU going down to Baylor. I'm putting them on upset alert. Had a very, very good win. Impressive win last weekend against Kansas State. Did not think that they would beat Kansas State. They put a head whooping on. We talk about the Jaguars and the Bills. BYU put a head whooping on Kansas State this past weekend.
Man,
But going down to Waco, um, where Baylor is favored, I think BYU needs to be careful. And then my second one is Texas A&M. Texas A&M and Arkansas rivalry game between those two squads. That's always a tough game, close game, and normally it is a neutral site game. It should be it's normally in Dallas.
yeah, I believe it's still gonna be down there. It's still gonna be. Yes, it is.
There you go. Yeah. So it's going to be in Arlington um, at Dallas. I Texas A&M, Arkansas looks better than what I thought. Arkansas looks better than what I thought right now. So Texas A&M needs to be careful. They need to be careful. So those are my two: BYU and Texas A&M on upset alert.
Yeah, my one was Texas A&M. Um, like you said, I mean, all the makings of it. Rivalry game. Granted, A&M has won 11 of the last 12. So as the results go by, yes, they've been the more dominant team winning. But like you said, a lot of those games have been going in overtime, one score
Mm,
games, one possession games. It's been really really close.
yeah.
And like you said, you talk about Arkansas. Arkansas pretty much was a blown second half away from being undefeated against
Yeah.
Oklahoma State. I mean, so they look a lot better than I think what most people expected
Oh,
from them for sure. So yeah, if I was Texas A&M, I would tread lightly there. I know I'm pretty sure I think they'll be ready for it, but that's one of the ones where I think that might be the one. That might be the one. Man, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it with these game picks. Four good ones, four ranked matchups here this week. First one is that early tap, man. Two teams coming off of some bad losses or some tough
yeah.
losses here in Big 12 play. We got number 20 Oklahoma State going up there to the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas, and playing number 23 Kansas State. Both teams trying to rebound and get their first dub in conference play.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got in this one?
I'm rolling with Kansas State. I'm picking Kansas State at home. I know last week was tough for them. I think they bounced back. That is that's a tough place for teams to win. I mean, to see what they did against Arizona, and Arizona came to town a couple of weeks ago. Um, That's a tough place to win for opposing teams, and I think that last week was a little bit of a wake up call for them. I don't see them coming out and losing. If they were to lose, I definitely don't see them losing like they did last weekend. But um, I'm gonna roll with Kansas State. I'm taking Kansas State at home to figure it out. I think they figure out a way to kind of ball up Ollie Gordon a little bit, and they get the W.
I'm going with Oklahoma State. I think obviously playing as tough as they did last week against Utah. I mean, Utah holding them down to only 19 points, but Utah's going to do that to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it is what it is with that. But I think Oklahoma State finds a way to bounce back. It'll be close. I think both teams will look a lot better than what they did last week.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna roll with Oklahoma State. I think offensively I like them a little bit better. But
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be your classic Big 12 shootout. Whoever got the ball
Okay.
last,
No,
one of those type of games. I think it's gonna be like that, or it's just gonna be really close. But I like Oklahoma State to get the dub on the road.
respect. Respect.
All right, next game on tap right there in that afternoon time, 3:30 time. We got Louisville, 15 ranked Louisville, going up to South Bend to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Mm-hmm.
We know this game how it went last year. Louisville took it to Notre Dame.
They
uh,
gave them that work.
yeah, gave them that work for sure last year. So I'm pretty sure the Irish got this one circled, man. Who you got in this one?
I am going with the road team. I'm going with Louisville. Um, you gotta stop the run. You gotta stop the run. You gotta stop the run. All right. But I'm gonna go with Louisville. They've been playing well. I picked them last week over Georgia Tech, which Georgia Tech I was. It's still early in the season, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's still early season for Tech. But um, I just don't know, man. Notre Dame is they're too up and down for me right now. And I think that Louisville's playing well. I think their defense is playing well. They're scoring. They're able to score the football. The quarterback's playing solid as well. Got 8 touchdowns on the season. 150 away from 1,000 yards already. So I'm gonna roll with Louisville. I think they get it done on the road. I think they figure it out and get it done on the road.
I'm going Notre Dame.
Okay, all right.
Uh,
We go. We're doing all right now.
yeah, yeah.
Doing all right now.
I'm gonna go Notre Dame. I think they got that wake up call against Northern Illinois, um, and let them know that we can't take anything for granted anymore. And I don't think they want to go out and lose another home game like that
Mm,
again. I mean, they were a little so against Miami, last week. But I think they'll get up for this one. This is a big game at home. You know, trying to get themselves ready. That now, this is gonna be a tough Louisville team that they got to play. Cause like you said, bro, offensively they got something brewing, and they can put up some points and they can put
yeah.
it up fast. So their defense got to be ready to play. But I think what'll happen is Notre Dame will probably try to do a bit more ball control, keep Louisville's offense on the sideline. Riley Leonard will try to run it here every now and again. Uh, Jeremiah Love, they'll probably give him the ball a lot of times to try to make sure they can just pretty much chew up their clock and not have Louisville to get as many possessions as they probably would like to have. If they can do that, then I think Notre Dame can come out on top. So I'm gonna go with the Irish over there to take in a close one. It's gonna be close.
Mm-hmm.
The spread is Notre Dame by a touchdown. I think it's closer than that. I think it's closer than that. But
Yeah.
uh, I'm gonna go with Notre Dame. All right, then we got 2 night games here coming up. So this first one here we got Penn State in Happy Valley taking on the 19th ranked and surprisingly undefeated Illinois. Man, I didn't see Illinois coming in this one undefeated.
No,
Um, and then of course Penn State expectations are high once again this year for them.
yeah.
Man, who you got in this one?
I'm taking Penn State. Taking Penn State at home at night in Happy Valley and Beaver Stadium, whiteout. Now, I think the spread is a lot. The spread is 19.5. That is a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's gonna be like that. I think that this Illinois team is good. I think this Illinois team is good, and Brett Bielema has these guys playing good football. And that was a great game last weekend on the road in Nebraska, which is not an easy place to play, especially when Nebraska is relevant, and they haven't been relevant in a long, long time.
yeah.
But I just think environment. I think this is going to. Drew Aller has to make plays. He has to make plays this game. But I just think it's too much. I think Penn State is too much. I think the crowd, the environment is too much. They're going to be in there rocking. They're going to be in there rocking Saturday night. So I'm rolling with Penn State.
I think it's close in the first half. I think Illinois has enough to keep it close the first half,
Mm-hmm.
and I think late Penn State pulls away. So I'm going with Penn State too. I think it's going to be too much. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. I know Illinois was just in Nebraska and
Mm-hmm.
had to deal with their Rockets home crowd, but I feel like now at this moment, Nebraska's crowd and Penn State crowd is gonna be like two totally different monsters.
For
I think
sure.
it's night game. It's gonna be rocking. It's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's gonna be different. So I think Illinois keeps it close. Uh, but I got Penn State too. I think Penn State will take it. Then of course, man, probably the biggest game of this week, the biggest game now. It seems like so far early in the season,
Mm-hmm.
um, we got Georgia going down to Tuscaloosa playing Alabama. Of course, this is Kirby Smart, Carson Beck, and all those guys leading down the Bulldogs. But then it's a little different. There's no Nick Saban, but there's still Jalen Milroe there, and there's still the rest
Mm-hmm.
of those guys down there in Alabama. Of course, I think Bama has won 8 out of the last 9 meetings. These two teams have played. We know what happened last year in the SEC championship game, which pretty much Bama knocked Georgia out of the playoffs, where they couldn't even, today where they couldn't get in.
Yeah.
So you know, it's a lot riding on this one. This is probably obviously somebody, whoever wins this has a jump start, a head start to keep leading the way in the SEC to make it down to Atlanta again
Mm-hmm.
this season, man. So who you got in this one?
Man, I went back and forth on this. I went back and forth on this. This basically it's a pick 'em. Georgia's favored by a point. If Georgia loses, I believe they still have a good chance, a very good chance of making the 12-team playoff. I think, and if they were to lose, they still have a tough schedule to play. They still have to go to Texas and play Texas. I believe they still have to go to Ole Miss, if I'm not mistaken, go to Ole Miss and play Ole Miss. I believe they even have LSU as well on the schedule. So they still have tough games afterwards. Alabama, if they lose this game, I don't know. I don't know because they still have to play Tennessee. We still got the Iron Bowl, and it doesn't matter. And we talked about this before. It doesn't matter what Auburn looks like. They're going to be up and ready to play Alabama when the Iron Bowl, um, when it's time to play the Iron Bowl. But they still have to play LSU. They still got to play Tennessee. I'm pretty sure they still have Ole Miss on the schedule. I think they have Oklahoma. I don't think they have Texas yet. I think they have Oklahoma.
Yeah, they got Oklahoma.
I think that. if Alabama loses, if Alabama loses, I don't know if they're able to make the playoff. I think Alabama needs this game more. It's at home, so I'm going with Alabama. I think that if Georgia loses, it's not that big of a hit on them versus Alabama. I think Alabama really needs this from a playoff standpoint, and really from a confidence standpoint, for them to say, okay, we can play with Georgia, we can beat some of the better teams in the country without Nick Saban. I think that they need that confidence boost. I think Kevin DeBoer, he needs that. I believe he has all the confidence in the world that he can win these type of games. But until you are in that environment, it's going to be a national championship environment down there in Tuscaloosa on Saturday night. Like it's crazy down there on Saturday night. I think that they need this game more. So I'm rolling with Alabama. I'm rolling with Alabama in a very very close game. A very very close game.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be ultimately highly competitive. Um, Obviously, there's that revenge factor for Georgia, and then
Hmm.
there's the side, like I said, for Alabama to say we can win these games without Nick Saban. We don't, yeah, like he's the GOAT, but that's done. But we're still Alabama, and I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. Even though Nick Saban may not be on that sideline, 8 of the last 9 has gone to Alabama.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna go reverse psychology. Of course, I want Georgia to win,
Okay.
but I'm gonna pick Alabama until they can do it consistently, not once every so often.
Yeah.
They can string some wins together against Alabama consistently. I can't pick Georgia right now, so I'm gonna go with Alabama
Wow.
over Georgia.
Wow. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, want to let you know he's picking Alabama on Saturday night. He will be in red and black, sitting at his
Oh,
apartment,
for sure.
watching his
Oh,
game,
for sure.
watching his
Yeah.
game. So let's just make sure. I just want to throw that out there for everybody so they know he ain't switching up.
Oh yeah,
He's
this is reverse psychology 1-on-1 for
yeah, yeah,
sure. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, this is
I
this is more so like,
I'm kind of shocked that you picking them, but I get it. I get your
yeah,
explanation. I
it's
get
it's kind of until they can show that they can do it consistently. And this would be even better because this is on the road. Because
yeah.
like you said, I think that's the challenging part for sure for Alabama if they lose is because they don't get too many more opportunities to face teams that may be as good or just as good as them or possibly on paper better. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
they got Tennessee, yeah, they got LSU, and now the Oklahoma game kind of takes a hit just a
Yeah.
little bit because of what happened with them in Tennessee. But Georgia, even if they do lose it, I mean, they still got Texas. I think they still
Mhm.
got to play Missouri.
Yes, they
Um,
do have Missouri. They do have Missouri.
uh, and I believe, like you said, Ole Miss, and I
Hmm.
think majority of those games that they got are going to be on the road. So um, now we'll say this: I am glad that Georgia kind of got their here lately their yearly scare
Yeah.
from teams that they probably should take care of business of. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But I mean, I think this is gonna be the first time that Carson Beck has had to deal with like a really strong, like tough road environment. I mean, I know like there was a year or two ago where they had or like last year, I think when they played, Tennessee, but by that time, Tennessee wasn't who they
Yeah.
thought they were going to be by the time that game happened. So it was just like, man, like this is going to be like a legit real road test. Like Bryant Denny Stadium is going to be rocking. It's going to be a lot. So Yeah,
Yeah,
until they can prove it, man, I'm gonna go with Alabama. But of course, if Georgia wins,
you will not be upset.
oh I'm talking that talk. You know what I mean? I'm talking.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. Now I don't know about you, but for me, it's a big weekend for me. All right, this is a big weekend. Phone gonna be on Do Not Disturb. It's a big weekend. We got Saturday. We got Georgia, Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and Sunday we got Atlanta and the Aints.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I got family members and close ones who both like the opposite teams of who my team's having to play.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear nothing from none of them
Yeah.
until
Nah. Yeah.
after the game. So I hadn't said nothing. I hadn't said nothing to none of my cousins. I hadn't mentioned
Mm-hmm.
anything to the ones who I live in the house with. I haven't said anything. I hadn't said anything to the in-law. I haven't said a word because I'm just trying to wait until whatever happens,
That's it. Let the games be played. Let the
and
games
then
be
and,
played.
and then we'll go from there. So
Yeah,
you
I'm with
know,
you. Yeah, it's yeah. I feel that. It's more so Sunday for me. It's
for
more. So,
sure.
you know how that get. I just
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
Just don't. Just don't. I just
Come
say
on, yeah,
that.
yeah. Uh,
Just don't. Just
please,
you know what I'm
please,
saying.
because they yeah. I don't even want to get into it, man. I don't even want to get into it. Uh, Real quick, we'll end off this real quick before we go ahead and wrap this up, man. I want to give a quick shout out, man. Of course, Derrick Rose announced his retirement
hmm
today. Man, 16 years in the NBA. Of course, former number one overall pick, rookie of the year, 2008 rookie of the year, youngest MVP in NBA history, 3-time All Star, averaged 17 points, 5 assists. Of course, it sucked to see him have all those injuries. I think he would have even
Yeah.
had a much better career if it wasn't for all the injuries, man. But um, shout out to him. I mean, a legend, especially in the city of Memphis. The fact that
Yeah.
he went to University of Memphis and then starting in the last year ends up being in the Memphis Grizzlies, man. It was just a good bookend, man. Wish him nothing but success and the best in
So
retirement. Man, anything you want to say about D Rose, bro?
now, man, uh, it was a pleasure to watch him play. One of sitting in the position meeting with the receivers earlier today, and we kind of talk about it. And one of the receivers is a Chicago fan. Man, he's a Bears fan, he's a Bulls fan, Blackhawks. Like he is Chicago,
Chicago, yeah.
and he was like, "It's one of the biggest what ifs in NBA history." Now I don't know about NBA history, but he's definitely one of the biggest what ifs. What if he could have stayed healthy? What if D Rose could have stayed healthy, man? As explosive as he was, what if he could have stayed healthy, man? You just never know. So um, I know it's tough to see his career go the way it went, um, but I think it was time, and I think this is the right time to go ahead and do it. So it was a pleasure, man. I like watching them a lot. Those series with the Bulls and the Heat, that when LeBron was with LeBron and D Wade and Bosh were down in Miami, man. Those were great series to watch. I mean, even when
When
they hit
LeBron went to Cleveland, yeah.
Cleveland, even when they went head to head with Cleveland, those couple years after that. So, um, yeah, just a roller coaster of a ride for his career, but definitely, man, he was definitely one of um, my favorites to watch for sure, especially in those big games. You knew he was gonna go out there and put on a show. So much love, much respect to D Rose.
Yeah, for sure, man. Much respect to him. Man, as we get ready to wrap up this episode, anything else you want to say out to the people?
Yeah, man, finish this year strong. Finish the quarter this year strong. Rolling up on October at the last couple months here, man. Finish strong. Finish this year strong. You still have all the time, all right, to do what you say you want to do, to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Now you run out of time. You run out of time, but but the things that you want are still obtainable if you are willing to put forth the work and the effort and have the faith that it's going to happen. So just want to leave you guys with that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's been a while. Been busy trying to coach these boys up, but we're back at it. And this is a good weekend to come back to because there's a lot of good games, this weekend, and in the college game and in the NFL as well.
Yeah, man, same for me. Man, just continue to stay level headed, man. Keep that grind going. You know, there's nothing wrong with, debriefing a bit, you know what I'm saying, relaxing, getting yourself, to not overwork yourself, man, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely for sure, man, keep that laser beam focused. Man, shout out to everybody who continues to listen to the podcast, subscribe to the
Sure.
YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Follow us on all the social medias. We appreciate it, man. Love black women, cherish black women, protect black women. No means no.
No means no.
Hey, it's homecoming season on the way. I mean, it started for some of us already, but
Yeah.
homecoming now. Once we get to October, homecoming season is like here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all be careful out here, man. Stay on your P's and Q's. Keep them I's dotted and the T's crossed. That's all I really got to say about that. But yeah, man, we appreciate the love. Like I said, yeah, it's been a little minute, but we back. And like you said, man, what no other time but to come back this weekend when there's a whole lot going on. Oh, man, everybody down in Florida,
Oh, please
Georgia,
be safe. Yeah.
I guess here, Tennessee's parts of the Carolina, yeah, with
Yeah.
Hurricane Helene coming on, man. I think it's supposed to hit landfall, I believe, today. And I know that's gonna bring a lot of rain, a lot of flood, man. Y'all be safe out here. You know what I'm
Please.
saying? Make sure y'all good. You know what I'm saying? Protect yourselves out here. And let's just have a good weekend, man. Sit down, enjoy yourselves, watch some ball, man. Till the next time, this has been another episode of the East Money Sports Podcast.
Peace.